I trusted her when she said, "It's complicated." Those 4 words, delivered in her soft, hesitant tone, had once made me believe that our love, though messy at times, was genuine, that the challenges we faced were simply part of the beautiful, imperfect tapestry of our lives. But one quiet evening, as I rifled through a misplaced envelope in our study, I discovered something that unraveled everything: receipts, photos, and cryptic messages that painted a damning picture of a web of hidden affairs. In that moment, every promise she made crumbled like fragile paper in the rain, and I realized that the complicated truth was far darker than I had ever imagined. I still remember how we met, a serendipitous encounter at a mutual friend's birthday party, where the air was filled with laughter, and our conversation flowed effortlessly amid the clink of glasses and soft music in the background. She had an enigmatic charm that drew me in, her smile warm and inviting, and her eyes hinted at depths I was eager to explore. As we talked about our favorite books and dreams for the future, I felt an immediate connection, a spark that promised more than just a fleeting romance. I believed in her, trusted her with my heart, and embraced her words when she said our relationship was complicated. I thought that meant we were navigating the inevitable challenges of a real, imperfect love, something that would eventually lead to a deeper, more profound bond. For months, we built a life together that was as unpredictable as it was passionate. Our days were filled with spontaneous adventures and quiet moments of intimacy that made me believe we were meant to be. I admired her fiercely independent spirit and the way she could light up an entire room with her laughter. We shared dreams of travel, of building a home where every corner would tell a story, of a future that, despite its complexities, promised endless possibilities. I trusted every word she said, convinced that "it's complicated" was just her way of acknowledging that love, in all its messy glory, was worth the struggle. I even started planning a future together: a shared home, a couple of dogs, long vacations in far-off lands, certain that our bond would only strengthen over time. Yet, beneath the surface of our bliss, there were subtle signs that something wasn't quite right. At first, I dismissed them as mere quirks of her independent nature. There were times when she'd slip away with a vague excuse of "I need some space" or "I have work to do," and I trusted her, believing that her complexities were part of what made her so unique. I noticed her phone became more of a constant companion, its screen lit up late into the night with messages I never saw. I even caught her glancing furtively at it when I walked into the room. I told myself it was all normal in a relationship that was, well, complicated. I trusted her explanations, her assurances that nothing was amiss, that I was the one she truly loved. Then one day, while I was reorganizing some old documents in our study, a place filled with memories of our shared dreams, I stumbled upon an envelope that wasn't labeled with my name. Curiosity, mingled with an inexplicable sense of dread, urged me to open it. Inside, I found a collection of photographs, receipts, and handwritten notes that I quickly realized were not meant for me. The photos showed her laughing in intimate settings with a man whose face I didn't recognize, captured in dimly lit restaurants and quiet, secluded corners of the city. The receipts detailed late-night dinners, hotel stays, and other expenses that didn't match any professional engagement. Handwritten notes hinted at secret rendezvous, full of coded language that I later deciphered as evidence of a hidden affair. Each image, each line of ink on those notes, was a betrayal that sliced through me like a jagged shard of broken glass. The shock of this discovery left me numb. I spent hours staring at the documents, my mind reeling with disbelief. How could I have been so blind? Every "I love you" and every vow of devotion that I had clung to now felt like hollow echoes in a vast, empty room. I questioned every moment we had shared, every late-night conversation, every tender touch, and wondered if I had been nothing more than a comforting placeholder in her complicated life. The betrayal was not sudden. It was a slow, creeping poison that had seeped into our relationship over time, hidden behind a facade of complexity and charm. In the following days, my heart was a battleground of conflicting emotions. Anger burned within me, a fierce, searing rage at the betrayal and at myself for not seeing the signs. Sorrow, too, settled heavily upon me as I grieved not only for the loss of the love I thought we had but also for the future we had planned together. A future that now lay in ruins, built on secrets and deceit. I felt a profound sense of loss, as if the dreams we had once nurtured were being torn apart by a truth too painful to face. Yet, amid the overwhelming despair, a small ember of resolve began to glow within me. I knew that I could not let this betrayal define my life. I deserved to reclaim my dignity, to rebuild my future on the firm foundation of honesty and self-respect. Determined to uncover every hidden facet of her deception, I began a quiet investigation. Late at night, when the house was shrouded in silence and the only sound was the soft ticking of the clock, I scrolled through our shared digital archives, revisited old messages, and even accessed her email account when she was away. Each new discovery, a receipt for a clandestine dinner, a photograph of her and the mystery man in a cozy corner of a dim restaurant, added another painful piece to the puzzle. I created a folder on my laptop, aptly labeled Truth, and saved every screenshot, every digital document that confirmed the reality of her hidden affairs. I combed through these files until I had constructed a timeline of deceit, a clear, unassailable record of the secret life she had built behind my back. The more I uncovered, the deeper my heart ached. I began to question everything I had believed in. The tender moments, the whispered assurances, the dreams of a shared future that now seemed like distant illusions. I replayed our conversations over and over in my mind, searching for any sign, any subtle hint that might have indicated the truth. There were moments, fleeting glances, moments of hesitation in her voice, when I had almost suspected something was wrong, but I had brushed them aside, convinced by her reassurances that everything was simply as it should be. Now, each of those moments was a painful reminder of how deeply I had been deceived. Unable to bear the burden of this hidden truth alone, I reached out to my closest friend, someone who had always been my anchor in times of joy and sorrow. We met at a quiet cafe one rainy afternoon, the kind of day when the world outside seems to slow down, and the soft patter of raindrops creates a cocoon of intimacy around you. I recounted every detail, my voice trembling as I told her about the envelope, the hidden photos, the receipts, and the notes that laid bare a complicated web of secret affairs. Her eyes filled with tears and she took my hand, her touch both comforting and resolute. "You deserve the truth," she whispered, "and you deserve a love that's built on honesty. Don't let this betrayal define you." Her words, full of compassion and strength, ignited a determination in me, a resolve that I would confront this painful reality head-on, no matter how devastating it might be. In the days that followed, I prepared myself for the confrontation. I spent long hours rehearsing what I would say, standing in front of the mirror until my voice, though quivering with emotion, grew steady and firm. I vowed to myself that I would not allow this betrayal to break me. Instead, I would use it as a stepping stone to reclaim my identity and rebuild my future. "I trusted you with my heart," I repeated, "and you built a secret life without me. I deserve to know the truth." Each word was a declaration, a promise to myself that I would no longer live in a world of illusions. The day of the confrontation arrived on a cold, overcast afternoon. Our home, once filled with the warm glow of shared dreams, now felt oppressively silent, a place where every room echoed with the ghosts of promises broken. I sat in the living room, folder in hand, my heart pounding like a war drum as I awaited her return from an errand. Every minute stretched into an eternity, and I felt as though the air itself was thick with unspoken truths. When she finally walked in, her eyes met mine for a brief, uncertain moment before she masked her fear with a practiced smile. I stood, took a deep breath and said, "We need to talk." She hesitated, her eyes flickering to the folder resting on the coffee table. With a trembling hand, I opened it and began to lay out the evidence. The photos of clandestine dinners, the receipts from secret hotels, the handwritten notes detailing meetings with a mystery man. "I trusted you," I said, my voice breaking with raw emotion, "and you said it was just complicated. But these secrets, these hidden affairs, they show a reality I can no longer ignore. How could you build a web of lies while promising me honesty?" Her face drained of color, and for a long, agonizing moment, she could only stammer out half-formed excuses. The room was heavy with silence, punctuated only by the sound of my own heart breaking. That confrontation was a collision of love and betrayal, a moment when every cherished memory, every whispered "I love you," turned to dust in the harsh light of truth. I saw the regret in her eyes, a silent acknowledgement of a secret life she had so meticulously concealed. The hurt was unbearable, a raw, searing pain that threatened to shatter my very soul. And yet, even as tears streamed down my face, I felt a quiet, resolute determination taking root within me, a determination to reclaim my life, to rebuild my future on my own terms, and to never again allow deception to define my worth. In the days and weeks that followed the confrontation, I withdrew into a period of deep reflection and solitary grief. I wandered through the now empty rooms of our home, each space echoing with memories that had once filled me with hope, now tainted by the bitter reality of betrayal. I spent countless hours rereading the evidence, each photograph and every note a painful reminder of the secret world that had been hidden from me. I questioned every moment we had shared, the laughter, the gentle touches, the dreams we had spun together, and I felt a profound sense of loss for a future that was now nothing more than a shattered illusion. Yet, amid that overwhelming sorrow, I began to see a glimmer of strength emerging from within me, a quiet resolve that I was more than the sum of her betrayals. I reached out to a therapist, whose gentle guidance helped me navigate the labyrinth of emotions that had ensnared me. In our sessions, I learned to confront the pain head-on, to understand that while the scars of betrayal might never fully fade, they could serve as symbols of resilience. A reminder that I had the power to rebuild my life from the ruins of shattered trust. I poured my heart into a journal, every entry a raw testament to the journey of healing that was slowly, painfully unfolding. Each tear, each sleepless night, each moment of despair was gradually transformed into a stepping stone toward reclaiming my identity. I also sought solace in the support of friends and family, those who offered kind words and quiet encouragement when I needed it most. Their unwavering belief in my strength became a lifeline, a reminder that I was not alone in my struggle and that I was worthy of a love that was true and honest. I began sharing pieces of my journey on a personal blog, writing candidly about the betrayal, the confrontation, and the slow, arduous process of healing. The responses were overwhelming. Messages of support, shared experiences, and gentle affirmations that helped me realize that even in the darkest moments, there is a glimmer of hope waiting to be nurtured. As time went on, I made the heart-wrenching decision to end our relationship. I consulted with a trusted attorney, and though the legal process was grueling, a series of court sessions, painful negotiations, and countless documents that forced me to relive the agony of betrayal, I felt a growing sense of liberation with each step. Signing the final papers was a moment of bittersweet closure. While it marked the end of a chapter filled with broken promises, it also opened the door to a future that was entirely my own. I left our home, a place that had once been a fortress of shared dreams, with a heavy heart, but with a resolve that I would never again allow deceit to define my life. I moved into a modest apartment in a quiet neighborhood, a space that I gradually transformed into my personal sanctuary. I redecorated with vibrant colors, hung photos and mementos that celebrated my resilience, and filled every corner with reminders of the strong, independent woman I had become. Each morning as I awoke to the soft glow of a new day, I reminded myself that I was free to create a future defined by honesty, trust, and self-respect. A future where my worth was recognized and cherished. Publicly, the unraveling of our once happy union became a quiet, shared secret among friends and family. Whispers of sympathy, gentle glances, and heartfelt words of encouragement followed me wherever I went. I began to share my story on a blog, writing openly about the heartbreak, the betrayal, and the painstaking process of rebuilding my life from the shards of deceit. The responses from strangers and old friends alike were overwhelmingly supportive, a tapestry of shared pain and hope that affirmed my belief that even in the face of profound betrayal, one can find the strength to rise again. As the months turned into a year, I slowly began to rediscover who I was before the betrayal, a woman with dreams, passions, and an unyielding capacity for love. I ventured cautiously back into the world of dating, each new encounter approached with a blend of guarded optimism and the hard-won lessons of my past. Every genuine smile, every kind conversation, became a small victory over the darkness that had once consumed me. I learned that true love must be built on transparency, that every promise must be honored with honesty, and that I was worthy of a partner who would cherish my trust as much as I cherished his. With every passing day, I grew stronger, the painful memories gradually softening into the background as I built a future defined by hope and resilience. Now, as I sit in the soft, gentle light of my modest apartment, a space that stands as a testament to my journey from heartbreak to healing, I reflect on the long, winding path that has brought me here. The memory of that hidden photo stream, the secret messages, and the evidence of a web of lies remains etched in my heart as a painful reminder of the fragility of trust. Yet, it is also a symbol of the strength I discovered within myself, a strength that allowed me to confront the truth, reclaim my dignity, and rebuild my life on my own terms. Every sunrise now is a promise of new beginnings, a chance to rewrite my story, to shape a future defined not by the betrayal of the past, but by the unwavering light of truth and self-respect. I move forward each day with an unshakable conviction that I deserve a love that is genuine, transparent, and built on mutual respect. A future where trust is not a fragile illusion but a solid foundation for every dream I hold dear. My journey has taught me that even the deepest betrayals can be transformed into the seeds of resilience, that every tear shed, every sleepless night, every moment of raw, unfiltered pain is a stepping stone toward a brighter tomorrow. I now step boldly into each new day, knowing that my destiny is mine to create, a destiny defined by the unyielding promise that I am worthy of a love that is real and complete. This is my story, a journey of shattered illusions, heart-wrenching betrayal, and ultimately the triumphant reclamation of my life. I trusted her when she said it's complicated, believing that the intricacies of our relationship were simply part of a beautiful, imperfect love. But when I discovered her complicated web of hidden affairs, a labyrinth of secret rendezvous, intimate photos, and whispered promises not meant for me, I was forced to confront a truth that shattered every hope I had once cherished. In that devastating moment, I found the strength to gather every piece of evidence, to face the painful reality head-on, and to reclaim my future from the ruins of deceit. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of anguish has led me to this place. A place of quiet strength where I now stand as a survivor, determined to build a future defined by honesty, self-respect, and the unwavering belief that I am worthy of a love that is true. Every new day is a blank page, a chance to rewrite my story, to embrace the lessons of the past, and to forge a future where trust is rebuilt on a foundation of truth and transparency. I now live each moment with the knowledge that I am more than the sum of someone else's lies, that my worth is not diminished by betrayal, but is instead affirmed by the resilience I have discovered within myself. As I look toward tomorrow, I step forward with a heart full of hope, a spirit unbroken by pain, and an unwavering commitment to live a life defined by the brilliant light of truth and the promise of genuine, honest love.